kindly being present here today. I'm really thankful to each and every one of you for kindly having given your time. It is the most important resource of your life. I've always said that a human being has two important resources. One is time and one is money. And the devotee is one who gains on time, loses on money. And one who gains on money, loses on time. But amongst these two resources, there is one resource which you cannot get back in your life. What is that? Time. You have agreed to give me your time, so I'm very thankful to each and every one of you. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. And events like these, Sadhu-Sanga, where like 4,000 devotees are present, they remind me of the big weddings that I used to attend in my childhood. So, in a big Indian wedding, how many of you have been to a big Indian wedding in your childhood? Ah, wonderful. You remember, reminisce that experience, dear devotees? You can get lost in the crowd and you can do whatever you want. You can come to Mangalarti or you cannot come to Mangalarti and nobody will find out. But it's very important, dear devotees, that all of us are here together. And it reminds me of a wonderful Indian wedding, dear devotees. There is a very nice verse which describes the different motivations with which people attend an Indian wedding. And it is a very nice verse, dear devotees. You can see it in front of you. I'll sing. Kindly sing after me. Kanya varayate rupam.
Kanya varayate rupam.
Mata vittam pita shrutam.
Mata vittam pita shrutam.
Bandhava kulam icchanti.
Bandhava kulam icchanti. Mishtanamitaye jana.
So typical Indian wedding, dear devotees, is such that Kanya varayate rupam. You can see the bride, the girl who is getting married, often she desires a very beautiful husband. That is her desire in the wedding. Everything else can wait, but my husband should be good looking. Many girls desire like this, dear devotees. But Mata Vittam, the mother of the girl, is more mature and intelligent. She desires her son-in-law should have what, dear devotees? Hare Krishna, Hare Mata Vittam. So the mother of the girl wants that my son-in-law should earn well. Pita Shrutam. And the father of the girl desires that my son-in-law should be well educated, so that I can boast in front of my relatives, my son-in-law. Bandhavaha kulam icchanti, the rest of the relatives, they want to have a good family with which they can associate. And the remaining ones, dear devotees, Mishtanam. So dear devotees, this Sadhu-Sanga is also like that. Some of us came because so many wonderful devotees are coming, and maybe some of our Gurujanas are coming. So the best motivation to come is Sadhu-Sanga, means there should be Sadhu-Sanga. That's it. That's the best motivation. And somebody else came to meet with friends and Haribol, I didn't see you for a long time, But then there are people like me who came for the last 20 devotees, alright? So I heard that there was good Prashadam. So I immediately told my dear friends, Prabhu, Damodarji Mataji, I told them, please book a ticket. I want to come to Sadhu-Sanga. Thank you, Prabhuji, Mataji. So here is the translation. Tejas Prabhu, you have a loud enough voice. Okay, so please read what is written there.
The bride desires a handsome man. Her mother desires a financially stable man. Her father desires a highly educated man. The immediate relatives desire a man belonging to a good family, whereas all others, they simply desire to have good sweets in the wedding feast.
So now you know why I have come here, alright? I'm making my motivation very clear. There is good Prashadam at Sadhu-Sanga, so I have come here, dear devotees. But another reason, dear devotees, is that we also have some opportunity here to discuss some Hari Katha. And today I wish to speak on this topic of two paths to Śrī-Krishna-prema, Vidhi and Rāga. And this is a very important subject matter for each and every one of our spiritual life, because unless we understand the entire subject matter from Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas, it becomes very difficult to make progress on the path. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, he makes a statement, and in this statement Srila Prabhupada clarifies something about Vidhi Marg and Raga Marg. He makes the first initial statement on Vidhi Marg and Raga Marg. Tejas Prabhu, can you read?
Although there may be a Radha Krishna Vigraha or form, the worship of the neophyte devotees is acceptable as Lakshmi Narayan worship. Worship according to the Pancharatrik Vidhi is called Vidhi Marg, and worship according to the Bhagavad Vidhi principles is called Rag Marg. The principles of Rag Marg are especially meant for devotees who are elevated to the Vrindavan platform.
Wonderful. Now, dear devotees, please raise your hands. How many of us wish to attain Goloka Vrindavan after this life? Alright. So the trap has been laid already, dear devotees. And most of you raised your hands, dear devotees. Wonderful. So it is very nice. Each and every one of us wants to attain Goloka Vrindavan, and it's very important to understand Goloka Vrindavan is the highest fruit on the tallest tree of spiritual life that we have. In fact, in today's age, it is very difficult to even find a person who accepts the path of bhakti. It's very difficult, and only after many, many lives does a person finally take up the process of bhakti. Sri Jiva Goswami, in his Bhakti Sandarbha, clarifies how not everyone is willing to accept bhakti, and he quotes the Brahma Vaivarta Puran as follows. Kindly sing after me. Yavat papaistu malinam,
Yavat papaistu malinam,
hridayam tavadevahi,
Hridayam tavadevahi,
na shastre satya buddhi syat,
Na shastre satya buddhi syat,
sadbuddhi sadgurau tatha,
Sadbuddhi sadgurau tatha,
Yavat papaistu malinam hridayam. As long as one's heart is tainted by sinful tendencies from many unlimited previous lives, till that time, na shastre satya buddhi syat. One does not get good faith in shastra. And many times we distributed books. Does everyone end up taking a book? And even amongst those who end up taking a book, does everyone end up reading the book?
No.
And even amongst those who read the book, does everyone accept what is written in the book? What is the reason? Dear devotees, Sri Jiva Goswami says that from unlimited previous lives, there are so many negative tendencies in our heart that it is very difficult for us to put simple faith on this path, dear devotees. And all of you who have put faith on this path have come through all of those unlimited lives finally to the point where you are now accepting the path of bhakti. And Sri Jiva Goswami therefore says, Aneka janma janita,
Aneka janma janita,
punya rashi phalam maha,
Punya rashi phalam maha,
satsanga shastra shravana,
Satsanga shastra shravana,
evam premadi jayate,
Evam premadi jayate.
Aneka janma. What is the meaning of aneka janma, dear devotees? After many, many births of having sukriti, maybe meeting a devotee or maybe taking some prashad, aneka janma. After many, many births, the most difficult, lodged, sinful reactions within the heart are cleansed, and then one gets the required piety by which one gets Sadhu-Sanga. The first Sadhu-Sanga comes in the form of that devotee who convinces us to take the path. And once we take to the path, gradually prema adi jayate. Gradually one day, dear devotees, we have our aim that we should achieve Śrī-Krishna-prema. That is our aim. All those of us who have come to this path have come only after many, many previous lives of struggling in the dark. And dear devotees, this is the case with most of us, and therefore we are very fortunate that we accepted this path of Sri Krishna Bhakti. And even in this path, dear devotees, now is the time that after a few years of practice, we should understand the path in some detail. And therefore, This particular series of presentations, two-part, has been designed so that we understand what are the two paths to take when we are practicing Śrī Krishna Bhakti. Dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami himself says that bhakti in an individual arises in three different ways, and Sri Rupa Goswami's verse in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is as follows. Please repeat after me. Sa bhakti sadhanam bhava,
Sa bhakti sadhanam bhava,
prema cheti tridhodita,
Prema cheti tridhodita.
Sa bhakti, that bhakti tridho udita, it arises in three different ways. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. Sadhanam,
Sadhanam,
that is on the stage of sadhan. Does anybody know what is the meaning of sadhan, dear devotees? Practitioner. As a practitioner, we can perform bhakti. When we advance further, please repeat. Bhava.
Bhava.
Bhava means finally we develop some genuine sthai bhav, we develop some genuine feeling of rasa towards Bhagavan. That is called the stage of bhava. And finally, when bhav matures, please repeat. Prema.
Prema.
Finally, is the stage of prema. On the stage of sadhana are most of us devotees who are practicing bhakti. In order to get to the second stage, what is the second stage, devotees?
Bhava.
And after we attain bhav, it is simply a matter of time that we will attain the final stage, which is named as prema. So most of us are on the stage of sadhana. A few fortunate ones end up on the stage of bhav. Example of that in the Srimad Bhagavatam is Bharat Maharaj and Jad Bharat, who ended up on the stage of bhav. And finally, after some time, we attain prema, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the best example of relishing Śrī-Krishna-prema. Dear devotees, three devotees on three different levels. All these three devotees practice bhakti on their respective levels. But most of us, 99.99% of us, are on one of these three levels. And which is the one level that most of us are on, dear devotees? So it is very important for us to understand the path of sadhan bhakti, and therefore amongst these three I am only going to concentrate on sadhan bhakti. The entire point of bhakti, whether you are practicing sadhan, bhava or prema, there is only one point of practicing bhakti, dear devotees, and that point of bhakti Sri Rupa Goswami highlights through a statement of Narad Muni. Many of us might have heard this. Please repeat after me. Tasmat kenapyupayena,
Tasmat kenapyupayena,
Krishne niveshaye,
Mana Krishne niveshaye.
So somehow or other, dear devotees, whether you are on the stage of sadhan, on bhav or on prem, there is only one thing to do. What is there to do, dear devotees? Invest your mind in. Therefore, the society was named as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The entire point of the society is this. And this verse is quoted by Sri Rupa Goswami as a praman as to what every devotee needs to do, whether they are on the stage of sadhan, they are on the stage of bhav, or they are on the stage of prema. Of course, a devotee on the stage of bhav or prema need not be told. But a devotee on the stage of sadhan needs to be told what to do and what not to do. So Sri Rupa Goswami and the previous acharyas make it very clear how to progress on the path of sadhan bhakti. Dear devotees, first and foremost, sadhan bhakti is of two types, and those two types, dear devotees, are as follows. Please repeat after me. Vidhi,
Vidhi,
Rāga,
Rāga.
Vidhi and Rāga are two types of sadhan bhakti. But what is sadhan bhakti? We discussed the meaning of sadhan bhakti. Can anybody please tell me what is sadhan? Practice. The devotees, but Sri Rupa Goswami gives a very elaborate definition of what sadhan bhakti is, and this definition is very important for us to understand the path that we are practicing. This definition given by Sri Rupa Goswami is as follows. Kindly repeat after me. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya,
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya,
bhava sa sadhana vidha,
Bhava sa sadhana vidha.
Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhana vidha. Dear devotees, there are two characteristics. Please tell me if you are performing these characteristics or not. First, Kriti sadhya. Are you using your limbs, your bodily limbs to execute acts of bhakti?
Yes.
You satisfied the first condition. Kriti means senses. Sadhya means you are using the senses. to perform this practice? Second, what is the final goal that you wish to achieve? The second is, dear devotees, please repeat, Sadhya Bhava.
Sadhya Bhava.
Finally, we want to attain the stage of what, dear devotees?
Bhava.
So, most of us, all of us have this aim through the movement of our senses in these acts of devotion. Finally, we want to attain one stage, and what stage is that, dear devotees? Once these two characteristics are fulfilled, congratulations, you are performing which bhakti, dear devotees? Sadhana. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava. Two characteristics only. Sa sadhana abhidha. She is known as sadhana bhakti, dear devotees. And I told you, sadhana bhakti is of two types. What are the two types, dear devotees? Vidhi and Rāga bhakti. Dear devotees, Śrī Rupa Goswami says, Vidhi Rāga cheti sadvidha sadhana vidha. This bhakti is divided, sadhan bhakti is divided into two types. First is Vidhi, second is Rāga. So once again, summarizing it, bhakti is divided totally into three types. Does anybody remember what was the initial categorization into three? Sadhana, bhava, prema. And now we are focusing on which bhakti? Sadhana. And that sadhan bhakti is of how many types? Two types. What are the two types, dear devotees? Vidhi sadhan bhakti and Raganuga sadhan bhakti. Most of us, dear devotees, have heard about one of these two types. Which one have we heard about most prominently? Vidhi comes from the term vidhi. And the meaning of the term vidhi is injunction, rule, regulation. That is what we call vidhi, and from vidhi comes the term vidhi. Let's understand, dear devotees, what is vidhi bhakti. This definition is very important and very interesting to look at, dear devotees, because this definition makes vidhi bhakti dependent on another type of bhakti. A very wonderful definition by Śrī Rupa Goswami. I have highlighted the important parts. Please repeat after me. Yatra ragana vaptatva.
Yatra ragana vaptatva.
Pravrittirupajayate.
Pravrittirupajayate.
Shasanenaiva shastrasya.
Shasanenaiva shastrasya.
Savaidhi bhakti uchyate.
Savaidhi bhakti uchyate.
Śrī Rupa Goswami says, Savaidhi bhakti uchyate. She is known as Vaidhi bhakti. Devotees, bhakti is masculine gender or feminine gender? Feminine. So she is Vaidhi bhakti when she fulfills the following two characteristics, dear devotees. Yatra raga anavaptatvat. Dear devotees, how many of us have the inclination to perform bhakti? Please raise your hands. All of us. But our tendency to perform bhakti, when it doesn't arise due to rag, and rag, dear devotees, often is translated as, can any of you tell me what is rag? Spontaneous love. Alright, so rag is spontaneous love. So when the tendency to perform bhakti arises not out of rag, but when rag is not present, when we don't have genuine love for Śrī Krishna, then there is one option we can fall back upon, and we can perform bhakti simply because of one reason. And that reason, dear devotees, is because Shastra says so. I read Prabhupada's books, and Prabhupada said we should perform what? Bhakti. So therefore today I am performing bhakti. Do I have any genuine attachment, inclination for Śrī Krishna at this point of time? Maybe not. But still I am performing bhakti, dear devotees. There is only one reason, that I am having statements of Shastra behind me to give me inclination to perform bhakti. And these statements come in two forms, positive and negative. The positive statement is, if you perform bhakti, then everything will be auspicious and you will go back home, back to Godhead, isn't it? And dear devotees, there are the negative statements. If you don't perform bhakti, then what will happen, dear devotees? Yeah, then you will take birth again and again and suffer again repeatedly in this world, dear devotees. So, it's very important to understand that bhakti, when it is performed as Vaidhi bhakti, it has statements of Shastra. Dear devotees, maybe we can come a little ahead so that devotees behind can get some space here also. Thank you. Thank you. Please make sure you are able to see the screen. Wonderful. Tomorrow we'll try to have more chairs. I was not expecting, but devotees are very kind. Dear devotees, in Vaidhi Bhakti, please, let's see if we have the two characteristics. Is Rag present in such Bhakti?
No.
Second, are we performing Bhakti because Shastra or Guru or some devotee told us to perform Bhakti?
Yes.
Wonderful. If these two characteristics are satisfied, we are performing which Bhakti, dear devotees? Shasanena eva shastrasya. Many of us understand the term shasan. What is the meaning of shasan, dear devotees? Discipline, injunction, dictation, diktat of Shastra is called shasan. Shasanena eva shastrasya sa Vaidhi Bhakti ruchyate. Then we are practicing Vaidhi Bhakti. Many of us came to the path because we want to go back home, back to Godhead, isn't it? I'll be very honest. Life was very miserable. One fine day, somebody came and told me, you can practice this path and have eternal happiness in the afterlife. So I said, wonderful. At least this life is miserable, at least after death I can be happy. So I took up the path. And this, dear devotees, is motivation for performing Vaidhi Bhakti, because I did not have any spontaneous attachment towards Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada specifies the same principle in simpler words in his Nectar of Devotion. Tejas Prabhu, kindly read loudly.
Rupa Goswami defines the first part of devotional practice, or Vaidhi Bhakti, as follows. When there is no attachment or no spontaneous loving service to the Lord, and one is engaged in the service of the Lord, simply out of obedience to the order of the spiritual master, or in pursuance of the scriptures, such obligatory service is called Vaidhi Bhakti.
Dear devotees, how does the statement of Srila Prabhupada sound? Does it sound very encouraging of Vaidhi Bhakti, or is it just the last option? The lowest common denominator that we could all achieve on the path. And in the last sentence you can see I have highlighted which service, dear devotees? Obligatory service. It's called Vaidhi Bhakti. So many of us, dear devotees, every morning we wake up. 16 plus 4. You know what is 16 plus 4? Every day 16 plus 4. And 6:30 in the morning I give to Krishna 16 plus 4. Dear Sri Krishna, I have chanted my 16 rounds and thankfully I followed 4 regulative principles. Alright? So 16 plus 4 every day. Bhagwan, I hope at the end of my life we have a contract. Bhagwan. The devotees promise me if you do 16 plus 4 you will go back home, back to Godhead. So Krishna may be smiling at this prospect. Krishna said, I never entered into any contract with anyone. You wrote your contract, you signed on it and you are forcing it upon me. That's all right. Huh? In Hindi we say, dil behlane ke liye bahut acha khayal hai. It's very nice to give solace to yourself that 16 plus 4 and you have a contract with Sri Krishna that at the end of your life you will go back home, back to Godhead. Dear devotees, if we looked at the definition of Vaidhi Bhakti, this definition is negative in sense because this definition says where one thing is not present. What is not present, dear devotees? The very definition of Vaidhi Bhakti has become dependent on which Bhakti, dear devotees? Rag. Unless we understand what is Rag, we will not be able to fully understand what is Vaidhi. Because in the very definition of Vaidhi Bhakti, Sri Rupa Goswami put Rag. So it is very important that we first understand what is Rag. Otherwise we will not be able to understand what is Vaidhi. So let's understand what is Rag, and many of us said spontaneous, love, and it's very good translations. But it's very nice to have pinpointed accuracy in what Raga is. So we will know what Raga is because terms such as spontaneous attachment are very vague terms. We need to understand exactly how Raga feels. So please, dear devotees, raise your hands. How many of us want to feel what raga is. So Sri Jiva Goswami says, wonderful, wonderful, we will understand what is raga. Dear devotees, Sri Jiva Goswami defines raga. Please repeat after me. Vishayinaha, Swabhaviko, Vishaya, Samsarga, Ichha, Atishayamaya, Prema, Ragaha. Very simple, dear devotees. Sri Jiva Goswami says, Vishayinaha, a materialist, a person who is attached to sense gratification, the natural, innate, organic, deep attachment that a sense gratifier has for sense objects is called raga. How many of us have experience of raga? The natural, please repeat after me. The natural, organic, innate, deep attachment, that sense gratifiers have for sense objects is raga. Relatable definition. And then he gives an example, yatha chakshuradinam saundarya adav. Just as the eyes have such deep attachment towards gazing at beautiful objects. Alright, so dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami gives the example, yuvatinam yatha yuni. Girls constantly, sometimes they stare at beautiful looking boys, and boys they stare at beautiful looking girls. Dear devotees, this example is given by Sri Rupa Goswami himself. This attachment on the material level is called as raga. What is it known as, dear devotees? Raga. And then he says, Tadrisha eva atra bhaktasya Shri Bhagavati api raga. Similarly, when a devotee has such natural, deep, intense attachment towards Bhagavan, then in the domain of bhakti, that devotee is said to have what, dear devotees? Raga. So the similar level of attachment that materialists have for material sense objects, a devotee has for Bhagavan. And when a devotee has similar attachment for Bhagavan, that attachment also becomes known as what? Raga. It is very important to understand, in this world, none of us have this raga. This raga is only present with one particular set of entities, and these are the eternal associates of Śrī-Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. I hope you are able to understand. It is only present with one particular set of entities. Who are they? Eternal associates. Sometimes we just commonly use the term Brajavasis. But Brajavasis doesn't mean Brajavasis in 2025. This raga specifically refers to the attachment of those Brajavasis who appeared with Śrī Krishna and who disappeared with Śrī Krishna. I hope you are able to understand. That is what Sri Jiva Goswami calls raga here. So it is very important to understand, nobody else in the world except for the eternal associates of Krishna has the truest raga within their hearts. The rest of us can follow those Brajavasis. And a follower is called as Anuga. I hope you are able to. What is it called as? Anuga. And when you combine raga and Anuga, what do you get? Wonderful, dear devotees. So we are getting somewhere, dear devotees, in our understanding of the path. Once again, only who has raga, dear devotees?
Eternal associates.
Dear devotees. Can you give a few examples of the eternal associates of Sri Krishna? Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, Sridham, Sudham, Chitrak, Patrak, so many are there. Dear devotees, all these devotees have Swabhavik Raga. They have deep, innate attachment for Sri Krishna. And that attachment has not been produced as a result of some sadhana. That attachment has been present since beginningless time because they are eternal associates of Bhagavan. There is no sadhana you can do to attain that level of raga. You will have to take birth with Sri Krishna in order to have that level of raga. Only when you take birth with Sri Krishna, you have a blood relationship with Sri Krishna. Only at that particular point of time can you say that I have raga for Sri Krishna. Till that time, there is only one path to follow. And what did I specify just now? Raga. So those who want to attain, how many of us wish to have that deep, spontaneous, intense attachment for Shri Krishna? So do we fit in Raga or do we fit in Raga Anuga? Raga Anuga. But dear devotees, even becoming Raga Anuga is far away for many of us. Because it is important to know that Srila Prabhupada says a devotee should have a proper attitude in order to progress on the path. In Nectar of Instruction preface, Prabhupada says progress in devotional service depends on the attitude of the follower. Do we have the proper attitude? Then we will be able to understand what is Raga Bhakti. Dear devotees, once again, this is the definition of Vaidhi Bhakti. Yatra rag anavaptatvat pravritti rupajayate. When the inclination to perform bhakti arises, not due to what? Rag. Then the only option to fall back is what, dear devotees? Shastra. And Shastra can also mean Prabhupada's books for us. Most of us began our bhakti because of reading whose books? And one thing I'll tell you about Srila Prabhupada's books, not even 2 pages will be there. You in every second page you will find one quotation from Shastra. Srila Prabhupada never wrote a book where he would not quote Shastra. There was never a morning walk where he would not quote Shastra. There was never a private discussion where he would not quote Shastra. There was never a lecture where he would not quote Shastra. In fact, when we are reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we are directly reading Shastra. It's so important to understand that when we are reading Prabhupada's books, we are getting the full force of Shastric statements, and it is those Shastric statements that convinced us to take up the path. And therefore, dear devotees, Śrī-Krishna-das Kaviraj Goswami also confirms the same principle in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have 3 confirmations now, one by Sri Rupa Goswami, one by Srila Prabhupada, and the third one is coming from Srila Krishna-das Kaviraj Goswami. Ragahina jana bhaje,
Ragahina jana bhaje,
Shastrera agyaya,
Shastrera agyaya,
Vaidhi bhakti balitare,
Vaidhi bhakti balitare,
Shastre gaya,
Sarva Shastre gaya.
So easy to understand, Prabhu, you can understand easily. Ragahina jana bhaje, a person without what? Bhaje, he still performs bhakti. But agyaya, by agya. What is the meaning of agya, dear devotees? Order, instruction, dictation of Shastra. Shastrera agyaya. Vaidhi bhakti bale tare. It is known as which bhakti? Sarva Shastrigaya. And who will prove that it is Vaidhi bhakti? Shastra will ask. Circular praman. Shastra will say, when you follow me, you are performing which bhakti? Vaidhi bhakti. This is the translation. Prabhu, can you read this time loudly?
Those who have not attained the platform of spontaneous attachment in devotional service render devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, according to the regulative principles mentioned in the revealed scriptures. According to the revealed scriptures, this kind of devotional service is called Vaidhi Bhakti.
Alright, this is Srila Prabhupada's translation, and I have highlighted those who have not attained the platform of spontaneous attachment. First condition, Sri Rupa Goswami also said, Srila Prabhupada also said, Sri Krishna-das Kaviraj Goswami also said. Those who have not attained Rag fall back onto which bhakti, dear devotees? Now this doesn't look very encouraging. It is as if we are put on the back seat and we had some space, alright, fit in. So, let's go to meet Shri Krishna, alright, but you don't fit on the front seat, so sit on the back seat, alright. This is how it sounds like, dear devotees. Does it sound encouraging or discouraging? The definition has some negativity in it. And it is very important to have this negativity in these definitions, because unless we are faced with a challenge, we will never even begin to improve. The definition could have said, wonderful, all of you performing Vaidhi Bhakti. Bravo! Just continue on the path and you will attain the highest fruit from the tallest tree. How nice it would have sounded, right, dear devotees? But a good teacher is one who knows when to put a seed of doubt in the heart of the student. And at this point of time, there is a seed of doubt in some of our hearts that if Rag is not present and I am performing Vaidhi Bhakti, but I wish to attain Raga, what do I do about it, dear devotees? So this seed of doubt has been planted by the previous acharyas by making some negative statements. Where rag is not there, that is known as which bhakti? Wonderful. The acharyas could have said, where only you follow Shastra, it is called Vaidhi Bhakti. But no, they purposely included another main statement. That what is not present? So that the curiosity will enter your mind. The acharyas are very good teachers, isn't it? If we cannot practice Raga Bhakti, at least we will aspire for it. It is better to have loved and lost rather than never have loved at all. Isn't it? It's very important that at least we'll aspire for it. And that will be to our great benefit. Dear devotees, an example of Vaidhi Bhakti is given by Sri Rupa Goswami by quoting what, dear devotees? Vaidhi Bhakti is according to what? So you have to quote what, dear devotees? Wonderful. So here is an example from the Srimad Bhagavatam where Sri Shukadeva Goswami is asking Parikshit Maharaj to perform bhakti, and this is the classic example of Vaidhi Bhakti. Kindly sing after me. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma
Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma
Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi
Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi
Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha
Shrotavyah Kirtitavyascha
Kartavyascha Bhayam
Smartavyascha Bhayam.
Tasmat Bharat. Therefore, O descendant of Bharat, Sri Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj, and Bharat is whose name, dear devotees? Parikshit Maharaj. Therefore, Bharat, O Parikshit Maharaj, Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi. 4 terms to denote the same personality. Sarvatma, the super soul of all. Bhagavan, the one with 6 opulences. Ishvaraha, the supreme controller. And what is his name, dear devotees? Shrotavyaha. Whenever you see Tavyaha, Tavyaha means worthy of. Shrotavyaha, he is worthy of what, dear devotees? Kirtitavyaha, he is worthy of what? Glorified. Smartavyaha, he is worthy of what? Remembered. Cha Ichhata Abhayam. Ichhata, if you desire Abhayam. What is Abhayam, dear devotees?
Fearless.
If you desire fearlessness, Parikshit Maharaj, you are going to die in 7 days. If you desire fearlessness, Harihi is Shrotavyaha, worthy of listening to. Hari is Kirtitavya, worthy of glorification. Hari is Smartavya, Hari is worthy of remembrance. This is the translation by Srila Prabhupada. Tejas Prabhu, kindly read loudly.
O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries.
Did you notice something in the verse, dear devotees? One who desires to be free from this is the motivation why I came to the path. I told you, right? So acharyas are specifying verses very precisely. There is a motivation in Vaidhi Bhakti. A person will not agree to any dictation unless they are getting something in return. It's a business deal, dear devotees. And I always make a profitable deal. Alright? 16 plus 4 for the rest of my life, and then I will be in the spiritual world forever.
16 plus 4 with Makhan Chor.
16 plus 4, Makhan Chor. We have a kavi in the So, how does it sound? You do, and devotees often tell you, only this one life give to Krishna. And Krishna will take care of you forever. So, on hearing such statements, devotees become highly encouraged and they start following. So, the main motivation, dear devotees, in Vaidhi Bhakti is, please repeat after me, moksha. Moksha. That is the main motivation in Vaidhi Bhakti. When you begin the path, the main motivation is moksha. I wish to get rid of this life of terrible suffering and wish to attain a platform of eternal happiness, and that is what Vaidhi Bhakti is all about, devotees. Does anybody else have any other motivation higher than this for performing Vaidhi Bhakti? Did anyone begin the path? Sorry, I should rephrase my question. Did anyone begin the path on any higher level of motivation than this?
Fortunate one.
Okay. What did anybody have higher motivation? I'd like to hear. Huh?
Out of the 4 types of people who approach Krishna, there's the jnanis. They don't want anything in return. They just want
Wonderful. So, the Jnanis, they want to know the Lord, and that is the motivation with which they approach. But a person doesn't become Jnani in one life. Bahunam Janmanam. Isn't it? So anybody who approaches out of Jnana, it means that in many previous lives, they might have approached Bhagavan, but not out of Jnana. And finally, they have developed an inclination towards one rasa amongst the five. It is called, dear devotees, please repeat, Shantaras. And because of the Shantaras, they have approached Bhagavan. Already there is the background of ras. Already there is that attachment towards the impersonal aspect of Bhagavan. It is not purely out of Vidhi. So already some degree of attachment is present. But all of the others who came just for getting rid of the miseries of life, we are practicing which bhakti, dear devotees? We can change our motivation gradually, no problem, dear devotees. So, now that we understand that the central principle in Vaidhi Bhakti is one. And what governs Vaidhi Bhakti, dear devotees? Shastra. And when Shastra governs Vaidhi Bhakti, progress in Vaidhi Bhakti is also dependent on how we understand Shastra. Many times, devotees think that progress in Vaidhi Bhakti means you just take up all the practices and perform to the maximum limit of your capacity. Dear devotees, it's not simply brute force. It is also understanding Shastra and how to perform Bhakti intelligently. Therefore, the gradation of devotees in Vaidhi Bhakti is also according to Shastra. Sri Jiva Goswami makes this very clear statement. Shastrasya shasanenaiva pravrittir. It has been clearly mentioned that Vaidhi Bhakti is carried out exclusively according to dictations of what, dear devotees? Shastra. Thus, faith in Shastra is the original cause of Vaidhi Bhakti, and this faith is called, please repeat, Shraddha.
Shraddha.
When we use the term Shraddha, often Shraddha is translated as faith in Krishna, faith in a devotee. But primarily, a new person cannot immediately have faith in Krishna. For the new devotee, for the person who is beginning the path, Shraddha means Shraddha in which entity, dear devotees? Shastra. All of us put faith in Prabhupada's books, and then we came to know about Krishna. So our Shraddha was first placed in the book or first placed in Krishna? Books. So Shastra Shraddha is actually Shraddha, dear devotees. It's a very important point to understand. Henceforth, we'll remember, the previous acharyas always defined Shraddha as faith in what, dear devotees? Because Vaidhi Bhakti is carried out according to what? Shastra. Therefore, since faith in Shastra is the original cause, the devotees practicing Vaidhi Bhakti are graded according to their degree and faith of understanding and implementing Shastra. This is how the devotees are graded. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Shraddhavan Janahaya Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhyam Kanishta Shraddha Anusari Shraddhavan Janahaya Bhakti Adhikari. A person who has Shraddha. Dear devotees, Shraddha in what? Shraddha. Is Bhakti Adhikari. Uttama Madhyama Kanishta. One becomes an Uttama Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Kanishta Adhikari according to their understanding and implementation of what, dear devotees? Shastra. The more a person understands and implements Shastra, and Shastra means devotional Shastra in their lives, the more they are eligible to be an Uttama Adhikari. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami himself defines an Uttama Adhikari. Shastra Yukteshu Nipurna
Shastha-yukteshu nipurna
Dridha Shraddha Yara
Dridha Shraddha Yara
Uttama Adhikari Se
Uttama Adhikari Se Taraye Samsara.
One who is expert in logic, argument, and the revealed scriptures, and who has firm faith in Krishna, is classified as a topmost devotee. He can deliver the whole world.
So one who is expert in Shastra and one who has full faith in Shastra, but not only Shastra, also Bhagavan Shri Krishna is called as which Adhikari, dear devotees? So there are two factors. Shraddha, faith in Shastra, and expertise in Shastra. If both are present, a person becomes known as which adhikari? Uttam adhikari. Second, dear devotees, madhyam adhikari. Shastra yukti nahi jane.
Shastra yukti nahi jane.
Dृढ़ श्रद्धावान.
Dृढ़ श्रद्धावान.
मध्यम अधिकारी से.
मध्यम अधिकारी से.
महाभाग्यवान.
महाभाग्यवान.
Shastra yukti nahi jane. One of the two things is missing. Expertise in what is missing, dear devotees? But he has faith in Shastra. I don't know Shastra, but I have faith that whatever is given in Shastra is pakka, perfect. Dear devotees, such a person becomes known as which adhikari? So one of the two limbs is missing, therefore madhyam adhikari. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
One who is not very expert in argument and logic based on the revealed scriptures, but who has firm faith, is considered a second-class devotee. He also must be considered most fortunate.
Mahabhagyavan, because he has developed faith in the most important entity. And what is that, dear devotees?
Shastra.
Guru is Guru because Guru follows.
Shastra.
Sadhu is Sadhu because Sadhu follows.
Shastra.
Amongst Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, there is one entity which can certify the remaining two. Which entity certifies the remaining two?
Shastra.
Guru has to get a certificate from Shastra. Sadhu has to get a certificate from Shastra. Has to get a certificate from nobody. Shastra is swatah praman, self-proved. This is what Shastra is, dear devotees. Finally, Kanishtha Adhikari, Śrī-Krishna-das Kaviraj Goswami says, Yahar Komal Shraddha,
Yahar Komal Shraddha,
Sai Kanishtha Jana,
Sai Jana,
Krame Krame Teho Bhakta,
Krame Krame Teho Bhakta, Haribe Uttama.
The two factors, one was faith in Shastra and one was expertise in Shastra. Madhyam Adhikari lost one of these two. Which one was not there?
Expertise.
But the Madhyam Adhikari had one thing. What was it? Faith in what, dear devotees? But Yahara Komal Shraddha, a person who has very soft Shraddha. One limb is also wobbling, dear devotees. If it is not present, he will be a non-devotee. But if it is present, it is wobbling, it's hanging on a small, tiny thread. That person becomes known as which adhikari, dear devotees? Krame, gradually, if he associates with an Uttam adhikari, Madhyam adhikari, Bhakta Haive Uttam, he will gradually become Madhyam and Uttam, dear devotees. Tejas Prabhu, kindly with the translation.
One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee.
So, dear devotees, how many of us wish to become a first-class devotee? All of us wish to become this. So, it's very important that we should make one particular entity the center of all our devotional practices. And which entity is that, dear devotees? And for us, Shastra refers to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. These are the three primary Shastras. Then there are many other literature written by the previous Acharyas, but these three are the primary Shastra for devotees. What are the three primary ones, dear devotees? One who at least reads these three once, and Srila Prabhupada has translated all of them for us, one who reads them at least once and understands will gain such a nice background, such a nice foundation of bhakti, that it will be impossible for someone to shake them off their platform of bhakti. They will continue forever. My sincere request, with folded hands, it's in Hindi we say kar jodna, So I come from Maharashtra. Maharashtra is hum kar jodte hain. Kar jodte means we fold hand. And surname maybe hum kar jod, agar kar. Those who didn't understand, no problem. With folded hands, I am requesting one thing. Alright? Please read the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita at least once, cover to cover. There was a survey done a few years ago by the GBC. Sorry to bring out some inconvenient truths. But how many devotees have read the complete set of Srila Prabhupada's books? And it was an anonymous survey, so you don't have to write your name. So an anonymous survey was done, and it was found out that many devotees, also including some who are seniors, said that we have not read the whole set even once. So, dear devotees, it is very important that if we are we say we cannot follow Raganuga Bhakti right now because we don't have what, dear devotees? Raga. So we are falling back upon which Bhakti? And Vaidhi Bhakti is dependent upon what? Shastra. And if we don't have Shastra? Which Bhakti? Should I tell you which Bhakti? Shruti, Smriti, Purana. I can't think it is called Utpat.
Emotion.
Does anybody know what is the meaning of Utpat?
Commotion.
Big disturbance. Either on an individual level or social level. Either I'll spoil my life or I will ensure that I take 10 people with me. So Utpat, dear devotees. I think it's very important to understand that bhakti has to come from the dictations of Shastra if we are calling it Vaidhi Bhakti. It's not that tomorrow I felt this bhakti is nice, but I did not get verification from Shastra. And so from tomorrow I start preaching this form of bhakti is good. It doesn't have backing of Shastra. It will sooner or later create what, dear devotees? If not now, maybe in the future, maybe in 50 years, maybe in 100 years. But it will create some utpat for either for ourselves or for somebody who's following our tracks. So let us follow strictly. If we are saying we follow Vaidhi Bhakti, we should follow Vaidhi Bhakti on the terms of Vaidhi Bhakti. And Vaidhi Bhakti on the terms of Vaidhi Bhakti means we should strictly follow the razor sharp dictations of what? Shastra. Otherwise we should not proclaim that we are following Vaidhi Bhakti. And there are three important literatures. What are the three important literatures? Bhagavad Gita ends with Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Bhavebhyo Mokshayishyami. It ends with moksha. Bhagavad Gita promises you something. What does it promise you? Srimad Bhagavatam begins by rejecting moksha. Dharmaha prochita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam sasam. All cheating religion is rejected. Srila Sridhar Swami says in the commentary, moksha visandhirapi nirastam. Even moksha will be rejected here. Even moksha will be rejected. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. I do not wish to go back to Godhead. If I do not have Krishna-prema. Now it is complete. Then we'll become a materialist. I do not wish to go back. No. Devotees, when we are prepared mentally for this platform, then we are eligible to enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. I do not want the 5 types of liberation. There is one thing I want in my life, and what is that, dear devotees? And if liberation comes as a side effect of Krishna-prema, I will consider it. This is the attitude of the acharyas. I will Muktir Mukulitanjali Sevates. Mukti has to wait. I have to first check if this is the correct type of mukti which will help me render service to my Ishtadev Śrī-Krishna. Otherwise, any mukti today, Vaikuntha is there. Tejas Prabhu. Yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Tejas Prabhu, after practicing in the International Society for Krishna consciousness, suddenly dropped Krishna out of his body. Why? Dear devotees, you are getting into a relationship with Śrī Krishna. Śrī Krishna is going to be very specific about what he wants. You also have to be very specific about what you want. Alright? This is what it is. And I'll tell you how Vaidhi Bhakti is. Vaidhi Bhakti can be compared to an arranged marriage. In most cultures in India, dear devotees, most cultures around the world, there used to be which marriage, dear devotees? Arranged. So, Love marriage was the exception, not the norm. The norm was arranged marriage. Dear devotees, and in arranged marriage, there is a boy and a girl. The parents introduce the boy and girl to each other. They say, well, this is the boy, this is the girl we selected for you. You have to get married. Alright? How many of us got married in this way? So, wow. Tradition survives. Alright. Don't expect from the next generation. So when the boy and girl get married, the parents of the boy tell the boy, see, you are meeting the girl for the first time, you take some present for her, alright? And the parents of the girl tell the girl, you are going to meet for the first time, take some present for the boy. On the first day, they have to be told what to do, because they don't have rag for each other. What do they not have, dear devotees? Rag. So they have to be told what to do. And who tells them, dear devotees? Parents. But after 10 years also, if they have to be told what to do. Then there is something wrong with the marriage.
That's still Vedhi Bhakti.
Huh?
That's still Vedhi Bhakti.
That is still, huh? I know, I am giving an analogy. So we began by dictations of Shastra because we didn't have any rag, we didn't develop any genuine attachment for Bhagavan. And therefore we started with Vidhi Bhakti. 15 years have passed. Every morning 6:30, Krishna, here I go, 16 rounds. Okay, see you tomorrow. It's like that. Is that marriage? Devotees, husband and wife are married. Every morning, 6:30 in the morning, the wife says, here are your milk and oats. See you tomorrow. Next morning, the wife comes and says, here are your milk and oats. See you tomorrow. 1 month passes and every morning, 6:30, milk and oats. The husband is thinking after 1 month, there is something missing from this marriage. Isn't it? What is missing, dear devotees? Material rag. I hope you are able to understand which rag is missing. Material rag is missing. Achha, in our marriage, how many of us will tolerate such a marriage? Wife every morning 6:30, milk and oats. Husband at the end of every week, here is your $3,000. Alright? See you next week. How many of us will tolerate such a marriage? But how many of us have tolerated and given such a relationship to Krishna for decades? Isn't it? Every morning 6:30, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, I pulled 16 buckets from the well. Affection is missing. The devotee's affection is missing. And it is very important for us as Gaudiya Vaishnavas to understand that we have to introduce. At some point of time, after 10 years, after a decade, we must introduce affection in our relationship with Bhagavan. And the first step has to be taken by us. Because Bhagavan is comfortable. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. You don't give affection? Fair enough. I also won't give affection. I hope you are able to. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita. I reciprocate according to the mood of the devotee. So you are coming with 16 plus 4 every morning? Alright, fair enough. I'll also stay like this. So dear devotees, if you practice Vaidhi Bhakti, gradually you may develop some feeling for Bhagavan. And if you have Rag also, you will develop some feeling for Bhagavan. And if you practice Vaidhi Bhakti, you will get to the stage of Bhav. Which stage, dear devotees? Bhav. And if you practice Rag Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti also, you will get to the stage of Bhav. Through both Bhaktis, you will get to which stage, dear devotees? Bhav. Because I told you initially, Bhakti is of how many types? 3. What were the 3 types?
Sadhana, Bhav, and Prema.
Sadhana is of how many types?
2.
What are the 2 types? Vaidhi should also lead to what? Bhav. Raganuga should also lead to what? Bhav. But the difference is in the quality of Bhav. You will have a very different Bhav if you perfect yourself through which Bhakti? Vaidhi. You will have a very different Bhav if you perfect yourself through Raganuga Bhakti. And this is the direct statement of Sri Rupa Goswami. Please repeat after me. महिमा ज्ञानयुक्तस्य रागानुगाश्रितानां तु प्रायशः केवलो भवेत्. You can see the second line, Vidhi Marga Anusarinam. Those who are following according to which path, dear devotees? Vaidhi Bhakti. Mahima Jnana Yuktah Syat. Those who follow the path of Vaidhi Bhakti will attain prema, bhav and prema, but that will be replete with awe and reverence of Bhagavan. Whereas those who are sheltered exclusively on the path of Rag attain prema replete exclusively with sweetness of Bhagavan. I will make it easier for you. Dear devotees, if you continue to practice Vaidhi Bhakti, you will attain bhava. And after bhava, you will attain what? And in that prema, you will see Shri Krishna in the mood of Dwaraka. This is the result of practicing which bhakti? The maximum that you can attain on this path is to become a queen in Dwaraka. Sri Rupa Goswami says, Riram Sam Sushtu Kurvanyo Vidhi Margena Sevate Kevale Naiva Satata Mahishitvam Iyat Pure. Mahishi. Does anybody know what is the meaning of Mahishi? Queen. You can become maximum, you can become a queen in Dwarkapuri. This is the result of following which path, dear devotees? And this is the result of following which path, dear devotees? Now, dear devotees, I put all the cards on the table. Don't shoot the messenger. Alright? This is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu as it is. I quoted the original words of Sri Rupa Goswami, and many of you might be learning Sanskrit also, so you will know whether I have translated correctly or not. So, dear devotees, this is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, what Sri Rupa Goswami says. Acha. Raise your hands, how many of you would like to opt for the left one? Individual palace for yourself. You don't have to stay in that small home. Big individual palace for yourself. The feeling of living in a city, like a civilized city dweller, not like those poor villagers. Raise your hands. Nobody? All of you have been brainwashed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Alright, you look good as villagers only. Alright. Anyways, half of you are sitting on the floor. The civilized people of the city don't sit on the floor. So, dear devotees, we know for sure that we wish to attain Goloka Vrindavan. But in order to attain Goloka Vrindavan, it will not simply be a mechanical formula. Krishna is not a machine to whom you give an input and you receive an output. Krishna has a heart, and Krishna will make a selection based on whether he likes our attitude. And if we are considering Krishna as a machine, as a transactional machine, 16 plus 4 into 50 years equals to back home, back to Godhead, that is not how it is going to work. In any relationship, we have to invest our heart. Unless we invest our heart in a relationship, the relationship is not going to go anywhere. And therefore, dear devotees, bhava and prema are going to remain difficult for those who are not willing to put in their personal feelings towards Śrī Krishna. You have to invest your personal feelings towards Śrī Krishna. And that cannot be done on a mass level. I hope you are able to understand. That has to be done on an individual level. Because on a mass level, you can practice Vaidhi Bhakti, you can get people to perform acts of Vaidhi Bhakti. But Rag is not a mass product. And I should make this clear in the very beginning. Rag cannot be practiced on a mass level. Rag has to be practiced on an individual level. Some people have a heart for giving that love to Sri Krishna. Some people may not have that heart. And you can have 100 replacements for not having a heart. Maybe if I don't have a heart for Sri Krishna, if I don't have a heart for Raga Bhakti, I can try to replace it with many other things which can make me look senior in the society of devotees. For example, Hari Parshad Das, he sleeps only on the floor. I can try to do that. And Hari Parshad Das, he eats how many times a day? Only once. There may be, I can spread rumors about myself. I don't do that. Oh, so Hari Parshad Das must be a senior devotee, isn't it? But dear devotees, Hari Parshad Das' heart is fully empty. He is completely dry person from inside. So what advancement is he going to make? He did everything externally, but he forgot to invest one thing. And what is that, dear devotees? International Society for Krishna Consciousness. My consciousness was not in Śrī Krishna. I did not give my mind, my heart to Śrī Krishna. I considered Śrī Krishna as a machine to whom I should give an input and I should receive an output, and I have a contract with Śrī Krishna, 50 years of 16 plus 4 should take me back home, back to Godhead. And I had those statements, backdoor, catching the dhoti, all those statements I had for my defense. And dear devotees, those people take to excuses who do not have the heart to love, isn't it? So dear devotees, should we take to excuses or should we put our heart in Śrī Krishna?
Put our heart.
So dear devotees, one takeaway from today's presentation. Tomorrow we will discuss Raga Bhakti in detail. But today, what is Vidhi Bhakti? Vidhi Bhakti is dependent exclusively on what, dear devotees?
Shastra.
And faith in Shastra is called Shraddha. And dear devotees, any devotee who quotes Shastra to you and tells you this is what is to be done, what is not to be done, they are quoting the correct sources. And it is not by mental speculation that one executes Vidhi Bhakti, it is only by the dictation of Shastra that one executes Vidhi Bhakti. And which three Shastra, dear devotees? These are the three primary. Secondary, there are many Upadeshamritam, Bhakti Rasamrit, Sindhu, so many 6 sandarbhas are there. Dear devotees, Vidhi Bhakti will not be enough. It's 3:5. I have been told I can extend till 3:30. Please don't worry, dear devotees. I hope all of you are well fed. All of you ate nicely, dear devotees? Wonderful. Vidhi Bhakti is not going to be strong enough. A direct statement by Śrī Krishna in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sakala jagate more,
Sakala jagate more,
Kare vidhi bhakti,
Kare vidhi bhakti,
Vidhi bhakti vraja bhava,
Vidhi bhakti vraja bhava,
Paite nahi shakti,
Paite nahi shakti.
Sakala jagate, Śrī Krishna is thinking, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita statement of Krishna is given, Sakala jagata more kare vidhi bhakti. The whole world is performing which bhakti? Because the world doesn't want to invest their heart. They want a formula. Vidhi bhakti vraja bhav paite nahi shakti. Vidhi bhakti doesn't have the power to take you to Goloka Vrindavan. Tejas Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
Everywhere in the world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such regulative principles, one cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees in Brajabhumi.
Dear devotees, how did Srila Prabhupada translate Vidhi Bhakti in the translation? Scriptural injunctions. I hope you are able to understand. How is Vidhi Bhakti translated by Srila Prabhupada? That's it. It's as simple as that. All the acharyas are speaking in one straight line. But you can attain Śrī Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan by following the second type of bhakti, which is the second type? Raga Nuga Bhakti. Dear devotees, a final praman for that. Śrī-Krishna Kaviraj Goswami says in the Charitamritam, Raga Nuga Marge Tare,
Raga Nuga Marge Tare,
Bhajaye Jana,
Bhajaye Jana,
Sri Jana Paye Braje,
Sri Jana Paye Braje,
Rajendra Nandana,
Rajendra
who executes bhakti by taking shelter of the path of Rag is the one who finally attains Sri Krishna in Golok Vrindavan.
How many of us wish to be this individual? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has primarily come in this world to teach which form of bhakti. And this is what we devotees should definitely discuss, because after 10 years, if the marriage is the same, something is going wrong. For a new devotee, you may tell them some theory. There are two types of bhakti, and they should execute Vaidhi bhakti. But devotees who have been practicing since some time, and most of the devotees here are devotees who have been practicing since quite a few time. The devotees, all of us should know in detail about which bhakti. It's very important, because we have a desire to go to Goloka Vrindavan, but if we don't practice according to Raga Marg, then we will end up going to which abode? Dwarka. Vaikuntha, no, you are not worshipping Vishnu. You will not go to Vaikuntha. Dwarka. So I will end, dear devotees, with a quote by Srila Prabhupada. Please read Tejas Prabhu.
The more you are engaged in devotional service, the more your senses become pure or uncovered. And when it is completely uncovered, without any designation, then you are capable to serve Krishna. This is apprenticeship. Vaidhi Bhakti, that is apprenticeship. Real Bhakti, Para Bhakti, that is Raganuga Bhakti. This Raganuga Bhakti, we have to come after surpassing the Vaidhi Bhakti.
So dear devotees, Srila Prabhupada says Vaidhi Bhakti is apprenticeship. Does anybody know what is apprenticeship, dear devotees?
Internship.
When an employee just joins a company, a trainee is called as an apprentice. And Srila Prabhupada says in a lecture on 12th November 1972 in Vrindavan, Vaidhi Bhakti is apprenticeship. So dear devotees, please raise your hands. How many of us wish to remain lifelong apprentices? Well, I am speaking. This is directly Srila Prabhupada's words. So if we wish to remain lifelong apprentices, fair enough, no problem. Vaidhi Bhakti is also very good. But you have to strictly follow what, dear devotees? Shastra. And if we wish to move ahead, then we should have some jigyasa, some curiousness, some inclination, some desire to perform the second type of sadhana bhakti, and which is that, dear devotees? Rag we cannot have. I told you, only one category of entities have rag. Who are they? Associates of Śrī-Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. If I say, Vrajavasis, can I say Vrajavasis in 2025 also have that raga? Because they did not appear, they did not take birth with Śrī Krishna. Only those who have blood relationship with Śrī Krishna, the devotees, they are the ones who are his immediate family members, are said to have raga. But we can have anuga. What is the meaning of anuga, dear devotees? Therefore we can become qualified for which bhakti? Anuga, raga anuga bhakti. But tomorrow, that most important facet of our bhakti, Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, will come up, and that is Raga Nuga Bhakti. The bhakti that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give, the bhakti that the 6 Goswamis came to give, the bhakti that all the previous acharyas, including Srila Prabhupada, came to give. Srila Prabhupada established temples all around the world, and these temples, dear devotees, were Radha Krishna temples, and Radha Krishna worship, dear devotees. He said in the very first quote, you worship like Lakshmi Narayana. Those who saw the first quote, you worship like what? Lakshmi Narayana. Because the devotees, the new devotee should learn how to worship from the Vaidhi path. And gradually, we should also progress, because Srila Prabhupada finally also wanted all of us to have Goloka Vrindavan. And for that, we will need to take shelter of which bhakti? Raga. That will be discussed tomorrow, dear devotees. Thank you so much. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam sahapura yantutat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tadguroreva menai. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. It is possible that in the course of this presentation, I might have made some mistakes. Skhalitam. Vidvam saha. You are learned devotees. Purayantutat. Please correct any mistakes. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit. But if there was anything nice in the presentation, a single slide, a single verse, a single sentence, a single word, a single syllable, or even if half a syllable was nice, please remember Tad Guru Reva. It belongs to my Gurujanas, my Diksha Guru, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are my Shiksha Guru, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas in all the families of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the past, in the future, in the present, all of you are also my Shiksha Gurus, it belongs to you. May Nahi. Thank you so much. I'm very thankful. Param Karna Prabhu is standing there behind Damodar Lila Mataji. Thank you so much, Prabhu and Mataji, for organizing this wonderful talk. We have some time for Q&A. Those of you who wish to go for your sevas, no problem. But those of you who wish to sit for Q&A, we still have some time till 3:30. Yes, we will take some question and answers. But you will have to speak loudly. I'll repeat your question. Mataji. Prabhupada, thank you so much.
Prabhu, you kind of touched on this. Devotees say that Prabhupada said that if you just chant 16 rounds every day, follow the four regular principles, you go back to Godhead. And then in Srimad Bhagavatam 10-31, I believe, it says that when the Acharya crosses over the ocean of material existence, he leaves behind the method by which other souls can also cross, and that the Lord, out of his mercy, out of his loving relationship with the Acharya, he kindly agrees to accept the method. So, if that's the method that Prabhupada gave, so that's conditional, if that's what Prabhupada gave, then Krishna has to accept it according to that verse of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Right. So, if that is the method that Srila Prabhupada gave, and then Krishna must accept it, yeah, I will repeat the question. The question is that there are statements where Prabhupada says you chant 16 rounds, follow four regulated principles, and Krishna will take you back home, back to Godhead. Or there are statements which say that Acharya lays down the path, you simply walk on the path and then you attain the result. And how do we see such statements? So the statements can often be seen in Srila Prabhupada's own words, because there are many other places where Srila Prabhupada specified that the highest goal was not to go back home, back to Godhead. And I specify one such statement. Yeah. In Fiji, I am repeating, Prabhupada says, that is real, pure devotee. He doesn't want even promotion. That is also mentioned now. Diyamanam nagrihinanti. It's from 3rd canto. Krishna gives liberation, but they don't accept. Unless there is seva. Diyamanam. Even Krishna says, come immediately to Vaikuntha. Tejas Prabhu. You said yes, huh? Sir, that is for just like Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was offered, whatever you like, you take. Prahlad Maharaj said, sir, do not make me panya. So, panya. Prabhupada uses the term. But if anyone wants in exchange of service, then he is not a devotee, he is a panya. Acha. So, Guru Kripa Prabhu, is that a merchant? Prabhupada says, merchant, yes. Then he quotes. Nadanam najanam nasundari kavitam vajagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishvare bhavatat bhakti ahituki tvayi. Janmani, Janmani. Life after life I am prepared to stay here. This is prayer, no exchange. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Kita Janma ho yatha tu yatas. If you want that I shall continue, yes, that is all right. That is full surrender. And on condition, sir, you will take me to Vaikuntha, therefore I am surrendered. That is condition, that is Banya. So, if we still have hopes about some contract, Srila Prabhupada knows that those hopes are not placed on the highest platform of bhakti. And the entire parampara knows that those hopes are not on the highest platform of bhakti. Anya bhilashita shunyam. That moksha bhilasha api shunyam, even the desire to have 5 types of liberation should not be there. That is the highest. Now why did Prabhupada give the other statements? Then arises a natural question. So I will give you a very simple example. It will become easy. When I was in 10th grade, my mother, she told me, Parshad, my civil name, Parshad, if you get 90% in your 10th grade, you will be happy forever. So I got, I worked hard and I got. And immediately, then after a few months, my mother said, well, if only you get the same percentage in your 12th grade, you will be happy forever. I said, all right. So I got. And then I enrolled in engineering. And then my mother said, if only you could clear all 4 years with first grade, you will be happy forever. I said, all right, mother's command, wonderful. After I cleared, then my mother said, if only you could have a good job. I promise you will be happy forever. What a good job. And then my mother said, you know what's coming up next. If only you could get married.
I could be.
So I told her, you select. I am also arranged. I am from the previous arranged. So okay, arranged marriage. Then at least now I should be happy, isn't it? So after a few days, my mother started saying, before I leave this world, if I see my grandchild, yeah, grandchild. So I have a son. After a few days, son grew up. One fine day, he was not listening to me. So my mother told me, what's the use? Your own son doesn't listen to you. I'd like to believe that Srila Prabhupada often teaches us like an Indian parent. Isn't it? So, but there are higher motivations to perform bhakti. So that is what I like to believe has happened in this situation. That the Acharya may have said, Bhagavad Gita says, Moksha Ishyami. And Srimad Bhagavatam says, we reject moksha. We don't want moksha. Why? How can you reject Krishna's words? Because Krishna-prema is more important than Krishna's own words. Isn't it? Love is more important than what Bhagavan may lie. He's not a straightforward person. The Gita is saying, Kam, Krodh, Lobh. Those who are Kam, Krodh and Lobh, these are gates to degradation. And the Acharya of Gita, what is Acharya? One who shows by example. So when Damodar Lila was happening, who took the stone and threw and broke the pot out of anger? Who bit his lower lip? Krishna. You are Acharya of Gita? You are not, but he's an Acharya. Maybe in namesake he's Acharya. But the person who really lived the Gita was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The personality who really lived the Gita is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna is a theoretical speaker in many cases. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the perfect personification of the teaching. So this is the reply that I'd like to give. I hope that satisfies your query to some degree. Right. Alright. Anybody else? Okay, Prabhu, then we'll come to you.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the answer. My question is, Prabhu, now what it means to chant with affection, with heart?
Yeah. What does it mean to chant with affection? To chant with affection means our heart should be mamatva ankita. There should be marks of mamatva. What is mamatva? The feeling of I and mine. Did you please repeat after me? I am Krishna's.
I am Krishna's.
Krishna is mine.
Krishna is mine.
This feeling when you have genuinely towards Bhagavan, that is called mamatva. And when we have this feeling towards Bhagavan and when we are chanting, so we are spending our time with a person with whom we have mamatva, a relationship. And then we are saying Hare Krishna. That's a very different feeling, isn't it? It's a very different feeling when you speak to a colleague in work. His name may also be Krishna, and a family member whose name may also be Krishna. Isn't it? So we may call a colleague at work Krishna, but that Krishna doesn't have mamatva, affection. But while dealing with a family member whose name is Krishna, affection is there. So that affection is the feeling of I and mine in relationship with Sri Krishna. This feeling cannot be produced by any mechanical movement of the senses. This affection, dear devotees, is it a material thing or a spiritual thing? Spiritual. It can only be acquired from the heart of a person who already has it. It can only be acquired from the heart of a person who has it. No matter how much you move your senses or pull 16 buckets, you may find that affection is not produced. Affection is only produced when our heart rubs against the heart of a devotee who has affection. I've always given this example, Prabhu, because acharyas often give examples from the material world. Like Rupa Goswami says, Yugatinam yatha yoni, as a boy is attracted to girl, girl is attracted to boy. I'll give this example, it will make it very clear. If a boy says, I wish to fall in love with a girl, but I don't know how to. Please tell me a formula. Prabhu, can you tell a formula? Is there a fixed formula? Either you have it or you don't have it. Maybe you may tell them while walking on your street, the first sight you become bedazzled. Love at first sight, isn't it? Huh? So only then you will understand. So I can also say to you, Prabhu, only when you see Krishna face to face, then you will understand what is I and mine. But does that answer satisfy us? There is another way to develop affection. First is to directly see Krishna, and then there is another way. So a boy who wants to fall in love with a girl but has no previous experience of love, either he can directly fall in love, but that is very difficult for him right now, or another thing he can do. I come from Mumbai, and Mumbai is a place which has spoiled the entire India. So there is one industry in Mumbai. Which industry?
Bollywood.
Why you are involved? So what happens in Bollywood, I'll tell you, they churn out thousands of songs every year. And by hearing these love songs, people who have never experienced love in their life, who have no contact with another gender, they also start crying. You didn't even meet anybody. Why are you crying? Because they came in contact with a hopeless romantic. I hope you are able to understand. Similarly, on this path of Krishna Bhakti, if you ever come in contact with a hopeless romantic, make sure you never give up their association. Because only from their heart will it come to your heart. So I hope that answers your query. Yes, Prabhu, then we'll go to you. Yeah.
Prabhu.
We'll last 2 questions because I also wish to respect time. Yeah.
I want to ask a follow-up question. Prabhu.
Sure.
So, just like you gave the analogy of hearing to the songs, right? So, similarly, can we hear from the Acharya's scriptures and then develop that, or do we need direct contact with it?
Sure. Can we hear from the Acharyas and scriptures and develop that affection for Bhagavan? Yes, the Acharyas have put in their mood in their Shastra. If you read the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how many of us have felt personally affected by the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur? He put his heart in those songs, isn't it? So, because of hearing those songs, those feelings came to us. I gave the same example to Prabhu, isn't it? So, therefore, when we hear those songs of the previous Acharyas, when we hear the songs, the writings of the previous Acharyas, some of that mood rubs onto our heart. It's very important to read the previous Acharyas under the guidance of a qualified devotee who can know what stage we are on right now and who can prescribe to us the medicine. Because the whole pharmacy store is open. I'll tell you one thing. You go to the entire pharmacy store is open. And you just go and say, what do I need? What do I want to do? So you pick a medicine. But one man's medicine is another man's.
I said.
I hope you're able to understand. So either you be expert enough to understand which medicine you want. Sometimes you become an expert. Because once you take a medicine, you note it down next time over the counter. You don't have to take a prescription. Or first time if you are venturing in the direction, take a prescription. A prescription should be taken from a qualified Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. I hope you are able to understand. Once you have the prescription, then over the counter. That is you can do that. That one first time prescription should be there. So I hope that answers your query.
My actual question is about the Raga, Prabhu.
Okay.
So, Raga is defined as something that is present in the eternal associates of
Yeah.
Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. And it is defined as a spontaneous love. So, I'm wondering, like, that suppose if you take the example of Queens of Dwarka, like Rukmini, they also have spontaneous love for Krishna. How do we differentiate?
So question is, Raga is defined as the spontaneous, genuine, innate, intense attachment of Brajavasis for Śrī Krishna. What about Queens of Dwarka? Answer is already there. They also have Raga mixed with Mahima Gyan, mixed with awe and reverence. I hope you are able to understand. They also have Raga. Do they not have Raga? Yes. But is there Raga Shuddha Raga or Mishra Raga? Which Raga is it? He is Maharaj. I hope you are able to understand. Dwarka ka Maharaj. So when Śrī Krishna comes, Rukmini Devi has prepared the plate and put the tilak. And when Holi comes, little here, little. Braj, when Holi comes. Srijiv Goswami says in Gopal Champu, Narmanga Gali Rudaka Kshipa Yantra Yuktir Pichkari. Is there? Narmanga Gali. Gali should also be there. You know what?
Mantras.
Huh?
Mantras.
No. You especially should read with prescription. Gali is verbal abuse. You only give a gali to somebody whom you truly love. With everybody else, you do Hare Krishna-prema. You are able to understand? Huh? With somebody you truly love, you have the courage and the love to give a what, dear devotees? Do you want to hear a gali from Golok Vrindavan? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear some galis for the first time in the history of the movement. Right from the seat of the platform, dear devotees, galis were flying, dear devotees. Previous poets describe one fine day, Śrī Krishna was in a mood to do some gali. So he approached Śrī Radha and said, dear devotees, please repeat after me. Oh Vrishabhanuja.
Oh Vrishabhanuja.
What is Vrishabhanuja?
Daughter of Vrishabhanu.
Vrishabhanu. He didn't complete the sentence. So she understood this person is up to no good. So dear devotees, hidden meaning. Vrishab means bull, Anuja means younger sister. So, oh Vrishabhanuja, oh younger sister of a bull. In Hindi it has more punch. Hindi में बोलते हैं बैल बुद्धि. So Śrī Radha said, please repeat after me. Yes, Gandharva Nandan. What is Gandharva? Celestial musician. Is called as what? Nandan means who gives pleasure by his flute play. Hidden another meaning of Gandharva is donkey. So when you play the flute, only donkeys are entered. Don't try with Dwarka Maharaj. The soldiers will come and with nursing Dev. Every morning we are giving gali. Ashlishyava padaratam vinashuma adarshana marmahatam karodva yatha tatha va vidhatu lampato. What is lampato? What is lampato? I am hard of hearing. Develop the courage of a Gaudiya Vaishnava. Say loudly, what is
Debauchee?
Wonderful. So this is what a Gaudiya Vaishnava is. he has the heart to follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the heart to give a gali. Isn't it? Lampato, Tribavachi. That doesn't come up in the translation, but it comes in the word for word. Because Srila Prabhupada knew that there are many Vaidhi Bhaktas still there. So for the queens of Dwarka, there will be Rag, but Rag will be mixed with Aishwarya Bhav, Mahima Bhav, Bada Maharaj. And in Golok Vrindavan, all of that is Bhagavan is Bhagavan outside of Vrindavan. Keep your Bhagavanness outside Vrindavan. Once you enter into Vrindavan, you have to behave like an ordinary human. And you have to take insults from the Vaishnavas. Okay, therefore, Bhagavan will not accept somebody easily in Vrindavan. It is going to take our heart on the path of Raga to enter there. Last question, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for wonderful and very lively. Just after the meals also people got not asleep. So thank you for that. My question is, the other Vaishnava Sampradayas,
Right.
do they also have this Raga
No.
or this Vaishnava Bhakti?
Yeah.
The second part of the question, are you going to cover Rupanuga Bhakti that is Raga?
Alright. So in other Vaishnava Sampradayas, the first question is there Raganuga Bhakti in other Vaishnava Sampradayas? Answer will be given directly by Sri Rupa Goswami. Alright, so let's have the answer directly by Sri Rupa Goswami. This is Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.309. Krishna Tat Bhakta Karunya
Krishna Tat Bhakta Karunya
Matra Labhaika Hetuka
Matra Labhaika Hetuka
Pushti Marga Taya Kaishe
Pushti Marga Taya Kaishe
Yam Raganugochate
Yam Raganugochate.
First sentence is very important. Please hear, dear devotees. I'll give you sufficient time to capture it. Krishna Tad Bhakta Karunya Matra Labha Eka Hetuka. The only reason for achieving Raganuga Bhakti is, please repeat after me, Krishna Karunya,
Krishna Karunya,
Krishna Bhakta Karunya.
Krishna Bhakta Karunya.
Matra, oh, these are the only two reasons. You cannot do any sadhan to achieve this. Krishna Tad Bhakta Karunya Matra Labha Eka Hetuka. The only cause of attaining this Raganuga Bhakti is if some devotee becomes pleased with you or Bhagwan becomes pleased with you. You cannot do anything to achieve it by your own volition. Kaischid, some people say, Iyam Raganuga. This Raganuga is also called Pushti Marg. Pushti Marg Taya Kaischid Iyam Raganuga Uchate. How many Gujaratis here? Close connection to me. I'm also one half. Right? So, Gujarati people. Sorry. Sometimes I go to Gujarat. Some Gujarati people say Krishna was born in Gujarat. So I just say okay. Because they have some attachment towards Bhagavan. And in Gujarat there was a wonderful sampradaya which came up. What was the name of that sampradaya? Sri Rupa Goswami mentions it by name in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Pushti Marg is directly equal to which Bhakti, dear devotees? And Vaidhi Bhakti they call, please repeat, Maryada Marg. So Maryada Marg is Vaidhi Bhakti, Pushti Marg is Raga Bhakti. In southern parts of India there were many Alvars, or there was Andal who also worship Bhagwan, but it had Raga, but also because there was some Aishwarya in it. So it was Raga, but there was some degree of Aishwarya in it. Alright? The Vrajavasis, they have Shuddha Raga with zero Aishwarya in it. That is the answer. Alright? Thank you. Thank you very much, dear devotees. I hope to see you tomorrow. Please note, I intend to start sharp at 1:45. Alright? Because tomorrow the topic is intense. We'll go deep, explore.